about the shiny new toy sitting next to you?
This shiny guy, look, a little bit like Andy, I've known Tags a long time. I was lucky enough to play with him at Newcastle, where I was captain, and he came as a wide-eyed young kid who had high expectations of himself and delivered. And I've seen firsthand what he's capable of doing on the grass. But more importantly for me, I know the depths of him as a person, and he has all the attributes and qualities that this club needs in this situation.
I guess, is it a relief to have that kind of finish and a class striker up front now, something that you've openly said you need to find more sources for goal?
Yeah, look, like we've said, we've had a clear plan about the type of player we need to spearhead, this rebuild and this phase that the club's in. To get a guy, that's of Adam's calibre is a huge pickup for the club. I kind of agree with his own appraisal of. I think he's actually improved as a player. I think he's definitely matured and would have experienced and learned a hell of a lot in his time overseas. We're talking about a high-level international striker that's from Perth, and that means something. It means something to him. It means something to us, and it'll mean something to the fans. So, his passion and his love for the club is genuine, and I think that's going to help drive the team and the club forward.
Without putting any extra pressure on Adam, how much can this impact the team's kind of performance for the rest of the season, and kind of how far can it push you up?
Look, it's never on the shoulders of any individual. We try and look at it. Everything we do as a collective. All players are equally important. All members of staff are equally as important, and so are our fans and members. And so, for me, Adam's an important cog and he's an important piece of the puzzle. But there'll be no more pressure on his shoulders to do his job than there is for any of us.
You're kind of hoping that the younger guys, you've got a very young squad, and the younger guys can really feed off Adam, and he can kind of bring a lot of what he's learned around the place and his experience to improve their game even faster.
Yeah, I think so. We're trying to. It does take time, but we're trying to construct a well-rounded squad that has a good mix of youth and experience. I think Adam's another one in the right age demographic. 29, I think 29 at Tags, and you got people like Ryan Williams and Aaron McInnes, and they're in that late 20s, peak of their powers type age bracket, and what that does is it carries with them not only the wealth of experience in the game, but also the ability to perform physically at a high level. So I think he can not only lead, with imparting his wisdom that he's learned on other players, but also by demonstrating and leading by example and leading by actions. And I think he'll do a great job of that for this team.
You've got Macarthur this weekend. How important is it to follow up the win from the weekend this week?
They're all worth the same 3 points. So yeah, we would love. You're right. We would love to follow it up. A good performance that we had on the weekend in front of our quality fans and members. We'd love to follow that up with a hard-fought win away from home. That's for sure.
Do you feel like the World Cup break gave you a chance to iron out kinks, and that sort of come through on the weekend?
Look, in some ways, like I've said, it was a blessing for us, because obviously we had that string of away games which takes its toll mentally on people more so than what people think. Players and staff included. At the end of that period, the boys obviously lost a little bit of confidence in that, especially in the second half against that Melbourne City team who were red hot. With three guys going to a World Cup, straight after that game. So the break came at a good time for us, to really remind us of how hard we need to work on the training pitch and the areas we need to improve. But the process hasn't changed. The only difference is we didn't travel, and our last two home games we've beat the premiers and the champions. So there's something to be said for how much the travel takes its toll, and also how much our players love playing in front of their fans. And so I think that break's been a blessing in some ways. The only hindrance has been the lack of competitive games. It showed in the performance on the weekend. We hit a big flat spot at around the 70-minute mark and had a few bodies go down and couldn't finish the game. And so in some ways we were lucky to scrape through that game without injuries.
Does that mean you've got injury concerns for this weekend, or is it a full squad?
No, we're looking pretty solid at the moment, and I must stress there's been a high performance team that's been brought into the club in the off season, and they're doing a fantastic job at the moment with keeping our assets on the pitch and keeping them at the peak of their physical capability. So, we got through the game, which was a big effort from the boys, players and staff included, and we take a pretty strong team away to Macarthur and hoping to get the points.
Ruben, can I get your thoughts on the league's decision to move for the grand final this year?
Yeah, look, I don't have too many comments. I don't feel like it's really my place, to give too many opinions on it. What I will say is that the fans are really important to the game, and so their opinions and their voice needs to be heard. But at the same flip of the coin, the people that run the league have business decisions in their mind. So, my opinion's not worth too much on this one.
Do you support fans want to protest?
Look, a little bit like Andy said, everyone's entitled to live their life and make their own actions, and I'll certainly never tell fans what they should and shouldn't do. The fans are entitled to their opinion. They're the heartbeat of the game. They always have been, and what they do is what they decide to do.
Do you think players are being aware if fans up and left at a certain point in the game? Do you think that impacts the game?
My players won't. We've got bigger things to worry about than what the fans are deciding to do. We need to worry about our job on the pitch and getting results, and they've been working so hard and focusing on that. So I don't think it'll affect my players at all.
Were you surprised by the announcement? It's such a unique part of the A-League is having a moving grand final for the team that earns the right to host it. Were you surprised by a decision to put it in one city for 3 years?
This is football in Australia. Nothing really surprises me anymore. There was an element of surprise, I guess, just because it's something new. Change is always hard to face. I think that's really important to recognise that change always, at first is difficult to embrace. So I'm a little bit, like Andy said there, I'm a little bit on the fence and looking forward to seeing how this all eventuates, because the decision's been made now and there'll be consequences, repercussions, both positive and negative to that. So I'm very impartial at the moment.
And just to point out, will he be fit to play as soon as the transfer window opens? Does he have to do any conditioning?
If he trains hard enough, he'll have to do some conditioning for sure. I'll make sure that that my staff sink their teeth into him pretty quick and get him in tip-top shape. But I must stress, the pressure's not on Tags to come in and necessarily get this team results. The pressure's on us. The pressure's on us as players and staff, the ones that are available this weekend to get points. And Tags will get himself fit and he'll play his part when the time comes.
Ruben's on this weekend. What sort of game are you expecting against Macarthur?
An interesting one because Dwight York's a coach who's letting his players play with a real element of freedom, which makes them unpredictable. And they've got some high quality individuals. They've got some real threats, and so I think we'll have to be at our best defensively in this game to nullify their threats, and if we do that, I think we'll win.